going to go ahead and invite the chapel team members up who are going to explain each of the stations if you come up at this time. For today, I know we normally do family groups where we go out, but today we're going to do something a little different. We're going to do some of our family groups in here, and then we're going to spend time together in here at different stations in really in view of us being a part of Holy Week. So each of the chapel team members are going to come and show you where the station is in here, and tell you a little bit more about that. So go ahead, Taylor.
So I'm in charge of the posture station, and that will be over on this side over there. We're going to be having some instrumental music playing in the background, so you can resume whatever posture you want, whether that's standing, sitting, kneeling, laying completely still on the floor. Just do whatever you want, you or feel led to do as you reflect to what God is telling you during this time.
Hello, I was in charge of prayer. So on each wing over here, there's going to be 2 chairs. In one of those chairs, there'll be people who are willing to pray with you. If you need something to pray with, or just to pray about, or just someone to talk to, it'll be Elena Halverstadt and Glenn Leopard. So if you just need someone to pray with, or just need some godly advice, we've got some godly people willing to be there and be with you and pray with you. So that's the prayer stations on either wing.
I'm in charge of praying for the nations, which is down here. It's this map you see down here. So essentially, you can come down and you can pray over a nation you feel led to pray for, and you can put a little sticky note by that nation and say, boop, prayed for it. And if somebody else put a sticky note there, you can also just double sticky note it and say, boop, prayed for it again. So that's that.
So Maddie and I are in charge of the creativity station. It's in the back over there next to Maddie, who's waving. Basically, that is like stuff with like arts and crafts and stuff. If you feel sort of led to express your worship to God through creativity or art or whatever, we have some supplies in the back for you to express your worship to God in that way.
Kayla and I are in charge of this beautiful cross down here, and you guys can write your prayers, your anxieties, just have a conversation with God and pray and say as long as you need.
Finally, the last station, which is actually going to be the first, is communion. And since today is our normal family group day, we're going to begin the stations in our family groups receiving communion. So don't know whether to give practical things first or theological things first. Communion is more than remembrance. It's fellowship with one another. It's communion with the present Christ. It's actually a looking forward to Christ's return when we have the banquet feast in the new creation when Christ returns. So, and part of that is using tangible elements that help remind us of Christ's body and Christ's blood that was given and shed for us in a new command that we love God and love one another, this new covenant that God made with us. And so practically, communion is something you receive, not something you take. So normally you would receive it from somebody and they would say, this is the body of Christ given to you, and you would receive the bread and take it, consume it. And then again, this is the blood of Christ shed for you, and you would receive that. It's a little bit different in the season, and we have the wonderful cups here. And so you're going to do this together with your family groups. And the first layer of the cup is this little clear piece, and you can take that off. and that reveals the wafer. And I would encourage you to take the elements, receive the elements together with your family group. So all of you can have the wafer together, and then you receive the wafer together. It's communion, communal. And then the second layer is the kind of tinfoil piece that's a little bit more tricky to peel off. And when I was a kid and we would go to my mom's Christian church, they would pass the big old trays of grape juice, and I was like, oh man, please don't let me be the one that spills the grape juice everywhere, just like I'm getting ready to do right now, and spill the grape juice everywhere, right? So you peel that off, and then again, you can receive the blood of Christ together in your family group. So let us do this station first so that we can spread out and go to the other stations after that. Here's what I suggest. One leader from each family group will come and pick up a tray that has the elements on it, and then you can watch and see where your leader goes, and then your family group can just go to them. So feel free to receive communion in here, but also feel free to step outside if there's a little more space. You can receive communion as your family group, then come back in and participate in the prayer stations, the posture station, the cross station, art station, as we kind of experience this Holy Week together. Does that make sense? Oh, right. And if you don't have a family group, there are some elements up here on this table that you can come and receive communion elements here if you're not in a family group. Okay, so one leader from each family group can come and get a plate. Y'all's job is to watch where your leader goes, go with them, receive communion, and then participate in the stations afterwards.
And we would just like to ask you today, as you come back from communion together as a family group, if you could be in this space here in an attitude of worship and just out of love for your brother or sister, to be aware of maybe people moving around, and just to think about being quiet as you can in the ways that you need to be. So we want to go ahead and invite you to go ahead and move. And I'm going to have Casey go ahead and start some music, if he would, for us. And at 5 till, we'll gather back here to sing the doxology together. So I'll come in and remind us of that.